So thank you so much for making the time to join me today. Firstly, huge congratulations on the success of Pink Cactus Cafe because it was a #1 album up until this week. So firstly, how did you celebrate? Because that's a huge achievement.
Do you know what, Brooke? I have to be the bearer of bad news because we got taken over on the last day. So it's actually number two.
Yeah, I did see that with Tyler the
You see
Creator.
that?
Yeah.
I wish these big, basically the biggest stars in the world would stop releasing the same week as us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was amazing to be honest. We did a couple of the kind of out stores where they linked the ticket and the album, and almost instantly we were getting. Like you could tell from the crowd, like that it's hit and that it's registering already. So yeah, it was a fun week, and I think those smaller shows just good prep, I guess, for good warm-ups for the arenas coming up next week. So or this week, I should say, which is coming around quite quickly. So yeah,
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's a bummer that it got overtaken by Tyler though, because his record's
yeah.
great as well, but honestly, I prefer your record.
Well, thank you very much.
But yeah, you've got 7 studio albums, and some people have labeled this as your best work yet. Do you agree with that statement? And if so, what do you think it is about this album that's better than what you've already put out there?
I would have to agree. I think. I know it might sound a bit of a cliche, but I think most people probably think their latest thing is their best because it's their most recent. It represents where they're at in life. It represents them, represents the band at that certain time. But in all honesty, I think because I'm getting a bit older, it felt a bit freer. And I guess maybe I'm less bothered about what people think these days than maybe I was when I was younger. And look, the thing is, if you've never been cool or top of the pile, it's quite easy to just kind of do your own thing. We've never had to adhere to like the expectations of, um, you know, certain quarters of the media or certain, you know, we've kind of just always done our own thing. So it's quite nice when you kind of do get people saying that they feel like it's your best. But it feels, you know what, it feels like pretty positive and pretty up, and it doesn't feel like we're trying. When I listen to it back, it feels like, oh yeah, that's who we are now. We're not trying to be something else. Just feels like it feels true. And I think if you can do that and then go and tour a record that feels like who you are at the minute, it's quite a nice position to be in, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you're saying that it feels true to you because you guys have had quite a long career. So to still find that spark and enjoyment in what you're doing after all these years is amazing.
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes I forget, but it was our 18th birthday as a band a couple of weeks ago. I was like, that you are, look, if you get to do this for one record, two records, you're blessed, right? So to be sitting here talking with you about album seven, it is a bit wild. But then at the same time, well, I don't know. It feels natural. It's not like, because we've never been superstars, never really felt any pressure. It's just like, we just get on with it, you know? And the records, I mean, they don't write themselves, obviously, but it's never been like, I never felt like an actual struggle. Do you know what I mean? Like some records have taken longer than others, this being one. But I think it's worth like taking that care and stuff. I think that's the thing because could have been around for so long. It's not like sometimes I think younger bands might be under pressure to follow up with a hit album quite quickly and they can rush it. And luckily, we're not in that position anymore.
Yeah, I think you're in a really great position to be in, especially given your history. You've kind of seen all the changes that have gone through in the industry, especially in terms of streaming platforms and vinyls. And then vinyls have returned again, and it's constantly changing. You've kind of been here through all of that.
Yeah, yeah. I think we came in as like a MySpace band. So we've been through everything. We've been through like the death of the CD, MySpace, the death of MySpace, and then all the streaming and stuff. And mad, because you have to ride all those waves. And I think if the songs are good enough, hopefully the songs will live on through whatever medium you've got, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And with this particular album, you co-produced a lot of the tracks. So obviously, yeah, a lot of the success is thanks to you as well. So how does it feel personally for you to have this sort of success with an album?
The co-producer thing, like I was really quite proud of it, to be honest. Like, because kind of been sat kind of next to the producer, kind of properly since the third album, I think. So since Anna, and it was our bass player was kind of like, you kind of fucking you do pretty much co-produce everything. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's start giving me a credit for it then. I think once you start, because I've always been more than just, writing the lyrics or coming up with a couple of chords. I've always wanted to be more involved, and I think it's having that bravery to say that you're going to do it. Or so, yeah, it was it was really it felt quite rewarding to be kind of welcomed in, especially by well, Joe, who plays bass, he's done a few tracks. Then there's James Skelly from the Coral. So to have them like let me sit at a desk with them and make all the decisions and stuff, yeah, it's pretty. To be honest, it was pretty wild because I respect them so much what they do. So for them to turn around and say, "No, no, you've got a seat at the table," quite literally, yeah, it was really nice actually.
Yeah, and it's such an honor to be invited to those seats at the tables as well, and just have because they learn a lot from you and you learn a lot from them. And it's a very two-way process.
100%. I think maybe previously I've got into a record with like, this is how I want to do it. Excuse me. This is how the song's going to be. Whereas this time, and because of that, you become less precious about certain ideas as well. It's like someone says that's great. Oh, that's not that good. Whereas in the past, you might have been like, "What do you mean that's no good?" Rah. I wanted that bass part to be locked in because there's a few more voices in the room, maybe, and you might have uh, an idea about something on the next track. They're a bit more willing to, So, the whole process was, even though it took a long time, it's quite fractured because, we recorded it in Manchester, in Liverpool. We did some of it in this big country house in Wales we stayed at for a few weeks. There were loads of different sessions with loads of different producers. But I kind of liked that. It's quite scattergun and quite all over the place. I quite liked it. I think, excuse me, when you pull it all together, there is a coherence to it, which I think is, quite a surprise, really, considering how we recorded it.
Yeah, because you've obviously worked with a lot of people for this album, and that comes through with the collaborations as well. So I'd love to hear your process of deciding who is the best fit to collaborate with and how you balance your sound as well as the sound that they bring to the table as well.
To be honest with you, they're all just friends. So from that point of view, you know, we're not really we're not really part of like the London set or the London scene. So we're not in all the parties and all that. We're up north, so we have our own stuff going on. And so because of that, there's a bit of like us and them. So the friends or the people that you know, you're a bit more. It's not like, oh, let's work together because I'm going to get something out of you. It's like, no, we are just mates. We get on. So it was really natural. And everybody that we asked said yes. And luckily, everybody that said yes, it's turned out pretty well. So I knew that I wanted Brooke on Sweet Surrender for track one, just because she's just such a talent. She's got an amazing voice. We've toured with her in the past. Pixie, who is on first name terms. I wasn't really aware of Pixie's stuff, to be honest. I'd heard her name, but I didn't really know what she was about. I didn't know her vibe. I wanted a say Etienne vocal kind of thing, for like proper 90s indie. And when I listened to her stuff, it was just like, okay, wow, that's perfect. So the guys in the studio had worked with her, so there's a connection. Charlie from Blossoms, we're good friends with those guys. He actually came in to do a backing vocal because he's got an amazing voice. He's brilliant at harmonies. So once he was here, I was like, right, well, now can you do a bass line as well? So yeah, it was yeah. Like I said, everybody was just really a friend, so it was all pretty easy.
Yeah, and I guess it does make it easier if you're mates because you know each other's music, but you also know each other on that personal level too, as opposed to like that whole like don't meet your idol if you had someone on the track that you may have been a fan of previously as well.
Yeah, 100%. There was no like because sometimes labels force people together. Look, sometimes it might work commercially, but that's just not really how we operate, to be honest. It just seems a bit forced. That I think I might struggle in that situation to be. Look, because when you're going in to write songs, you're pouring your heart out. Like it's open and it's honest. And if you're forced in a room with someone that you don't know, I imagine that being quite awkward, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I may be a bit biased because I'm from Sydney, but my favorite collab is the one you did with DMA. So tell me what it was like working with them, and did they bring anything to the table that surprised you?
Um well, I mean we've been friends for a long time. We've toured together for like loads in the UK. We played at loads of shows together. Um so and I know what they're about. I love their music, I love their vibe. I was surprised at how quickly we did the song in a day like that. It was, well, we demoed it in a day. Um, so I was in with Johnny and Mason, and yeah, we just got together in my studio. In fact, the seat I'm at now was where Johnny was, like sat there like this at the desk, and then I was behind him on the guitar, and Mason was there playing, tinkering with some keys, and yeah, the song just came about really quickly. And then when we had the final product, excuse me, I just look, we've got to ask Tommy to sing some verses on this. And so we sent it to him and I said, look, these are the lyrics, man, but if you want to change any melodies or whatever, go for it. Um, Came back and it was, 10 out of 10. So it is actually, I was surprised at how easy it was, to be honest. That was what I was surprised at. So yeah, it's going to be good live, I think. And obviously, we're going out with them in a couple of days, UK, so it'll be amazing.
Yeah, and especially how fast it happened too, because did you say one day it happened?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just the one day. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, it was super quick.
Yeah, amazing. Like, because I'd find that so hard. Like, I'm a perfectionist. So to finish something in one day, not to have that urge to constantly retweak it is amazing.
Well, hang on. There might have been some retweaking. There may
Okay.
have been some retweaking, but like the song came together from like start to finish. Obviously, we may have messed about with some guitar sounds and a little bit of this here and there, but we didn't like the most of the lyrics. Yeah, it was super quick. But sometimes that happens, like not 19 forever. I wrote like 15 minutes at the end of my bed, you know, and then there'll be some album tracks that some deep cuts that take like 6 months, and people are like, "Oh, that's all right. That took 6 months, man. What do you mean?" But that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance between like what you think would do really well and what other people think as well. And but yeah,
Yeah,
it turned out great. Like it's a
yeah.
great track. And I'm just curious as well of the album title. It's very unique and interesting. So I want to hear like I guess how that came about and how that fits into the message of the album.
I think I think it's kind of just escape, really. Um, do we have this place in our minds that we can just go to where I think that it kind of ties in with the artwork where it's a little bit out of space, a bit surreal. But it could be anything. It could be going for a walk with your dog. Do you know what I mean? It could be turning your phone off. It could be going away for the weekend. It could be drawing for 2 hours. It could be painting. Everybody's got their own. version of a Pink Cactus Cafe, I think. And for me, it was just this place that I could escape to that I think is really important, especially like today as we speak, it's like you need a bit of time for yourself, but solitude.
Yeah, I really like that concept. And
Appreciate
lastly, yeah, lastly, I just want to touch on the tour. So, how are you feeling leading up to it, and how are you preparing? Because, as you said, it kicks off this week.
So we've kicked off the arenas, but we've actually been doing these shows for like 2, 3 weeks, or the smaller ones that you do the albums, like I said. So in all honesty, we feel match fit, but we're still tinkering with the set list. So we're in rehearsals today. Um, so yeah, but, we leave things to the last minute. But I like that excitement. The crew were asking us 3 weeks ago, "Have you got the set list?" I was like, "We're still working on it. We're still working on it." So right up until the last day, we'll always be working on stuff. But yeah, it's going to be good. Mystery Jets are opening, DMA'S. It's going to be such a good night. We got going to some amazing cities where we've already got so many good memories with people. We've been going there for 20 years in Glasgow, London, and whatnot. So to have those people, but then there's a next generation coming through. There's like 15, 16-year-olds on the front row. So can't wait to get and see them all. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, amazing. We're looking forward. Just obviously, I can't physically make it, but I'm keen to see like the
Yeah,
videos and the photos, and yeah, I'm sure I'll see
yeah,
it online.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. Thanks so much.
Right, my last question is like obviously you guys have been in this game for so long, so you're obviously not, stopping anytime soon. So after the tour, like what are your plans for next year?
At the minute, there's a lot of like uncertainty. We know we've got some festivals in the UK, but I've got everything crossed coming to us. Like I said earlier to somebody else, like we are so ready. We've been ready for 10 years to come to us. So I think there might be some tapping on the shoulder of our agents and to try and get some stuff sorted out because it'd be a travesty if we don't get over there soon.
Yes, would obviously love to have you and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, amazing.
Cool, thank you. Were there any other comments that you wanted to add about the tour, the album that we haven't covered today?
I don't think so. No, it feels pretty good. I feel like it's just like that collaboration thing. Just feels like it's almost like we've got another 10 years in us because of this like new way of working. And yeah, people out there, don't be scared of working with somebody else because if there's somebody else talented in the room, you're going to get something out of it. So don't be scared of working with other people.
Yeah, it's only an opportunity to learn and grow in your career, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet you and all the best for the tour. And I look forward to seeing what you do next from here. All
Thanks so much. Cheers, bro.
right, you too. Bye, guys.